Anecdotal here, and I've been hearing a lot of stuff about release dates, talking about Fight Night, the new Fight Night from Moneyball that was announced, talking about that ain't coming out until 2025. Look, this game is coming out real soon, a lot sooner than y'all think, and I'm about to explain to y'all why. Okay, so here's the article from, a article from PSU, talking about, hey, the Moneyball's coming out. It's already entered the early stages of development, and that the game is taking a back seat while the team still works on UFC 5. Okay, it's already entered in early stages of development. And when I heard this, like, this is fishy. Straight suspect. Straight suspect. Because I've been watching for a while, and yeah, it's just something fishy about this. Let's go back. So they said they entered into a multi-year, multi-product deal, and this was during the E3 Expo back in 2013. This is from GamingBoat.com. I got this from, and they opted to hold back the development of Fight Night to better focus their resources instead of releasing it alongside the UFC. So they had that option of releasing it alongside. Okay, let's okay. So now here it is, 2014. They went on and released the UFC game, and 16 they released two, and 18 3, and so on and so forth. So we see that every 2 years they're coming out with a UFC game. So this company is very methodical and calculated about how they like to release games. So it is very safe to say that the UFC 5 is probably going to be here around summer 22. Now let's go back a little bit further. So here we see the Fight Night. We was getting them from 2004 all the way to six. Now every year a new Fight Night. Can you imagine that? And we have a gap here, which was no issue. But I think when I was around the time I was playing round three, this kind of was an issue. It seemed like it took forever for a game. I played the hell out of round three, and then um, round four was a different engine from the round three, and that's why I highlighted these right here in red because these were similar engines, but round three being a real good one, and Champion got that 2 years later. Now, in my opinion, Champion and round four were uh, different. They were different, but they still shared a lot of stuff. They were like siblings. I'll put it like that, in my opinion. Now, this is where it started to get juicy. This is actually a copy of a little piece of the lawsuit that THQ filed against EA and Zuffa, the parent company of the UFC, and this was filed in October 2013. So October 2013. So now, but on June 1st, 2012, they all entered into a settle agreement, THQ and Zuffa, and this was to kind of keep everybody happy. They kind of bought them out of there. Well, Zuffa bought THQ out of the license in order to give it to EA, and THQ was required by Zuffa to congratulate EA on getting that license. But now keep in mind, all this here in this lawsuit is just background information, so who's ever reading it can catch up on all the events that transpired between the three companies up until October 13th, the day that this lawsuit was filed. And now in this, it's saying that EA was in the process of developing the UFC game in 2014, and it was going to be released in 2014. And so EA is very methodical and very calculated about when to release a product and how long. They know how long it's going to take. So if they say, "Hey, well, it's coming on at this year," that's the year it's coming. Now, in that very same uh, lawsuit, this was, like I say, some more background information of THQ discussing what had transpired between all three companies. And here it is in early December 2011. Now, this is the key point here. EA and THQ discussed a potential a potential sale of THQ as a whole to EA. Now, this is potential. So, EA didn't know at this time in December 2011 that it was going to ever acquire the UFC license that they were so, eager to get their little, smudgy little hands on. And you see this date is December 11th. Now, they just released the fight night earlier in 2011. So I can only assume that a company like EA, they got to keep the ball rolling, and they kept the ball rolling on the fight night Moneyball. And I'm also go out a little further to say this game is probably about 50 to 65% complete as we speak. I know that's a stretch, but I'm just going with my gut on this one. But check out this article here. This from Shaq News, dated May 24th, 2013. Excuse me. And it's saying that the Fight Night team had almost entirely been redirected to work on the UFC after the company grabbed the rights from THQ. Redirected. Everybody, stop what you're doing. Minimize. Close those windows out. Entirely directed. And then here it is, another one from IGN, which we already knew this, that the Fight Night team was actually the same team that was building, the UFC. Well, no shit, Sherlocks. We already know that. So here it is, the Fight Night Moneyball. Let's go back. 2004, 5, 6, and we had this big gap right here. So a lot of us was wondering, like, damn, what the hell? We ain't been getting no Fight Night, and then they finally released one in 2009. The reason why there was a big 3-year gap here is because they was busy working on this thing, EA Sports MMA. So when you lie and say that they opted to hold back the development to better focus their resources, when they say focus their resources, they wasn't talking about their manpower. Like, they didn't have the artist or the team that could get it done at the same time, because we already know that, yeah, they did have the manpower to release a UFC on alongside, or MMA game alongside the Fight Night game. But see, the resources that they was talking about is the resources that has always been about with this company. This company, that's all they think about is this. It's not about the gamers. It's not about games. It's about the money. That's all it's been about. And if you don't believe that, it's right there in your face. They pretty much just disrespected the boxing community, and it was a slap in the face to really call this game Moneyball. So this Moneyball that y'all had sitting at the bottom of somebody's hard drive for 10 years. This is a 10-year-old game, but you want to lie about the production and say, oh, yeah, well, it just entered early development, but we still gonna wait because we still see. No, what it is, you saw ESBC gaining steam, and you said, well, wait a minute, we thought that all combat sports fans was all combat sports fans. No, the UFC fan base is completely different. Well, UFC fan base as far as video games and boxing fan base as far as video games go are completely different. And see, what I think the EA did was put all their eggs in one basket and was like, you know what? We gonna try to leverage this license. We gonna try to milk and get every last dollar we can and using this license, this UFC brand. But see, it's not our fault as gamers that you sign this deal and promise Zuffa, a UFC, that you could hit certain numbers and projections. That's not our fault to go ahead and punish us indirectly by not giving us a fight game for over 10 damn years. See, I kind of would have been cool if, because I saw UFC coming, but I kind of would have been cool had you said, you know what, after UFC 3, let me go ahead and just, give the boxing community, one boxing game. But no, that would have been too much like right. But instead, you consistently disrespect the boxing community and even tease and dangle a Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua skin in a UFC game. Complete disrespect, smack in the face. And so stuff like this, to where you get the line about yeah, production, and now that you see it as an advantage to release this damn old ass game that was started being working on back in 2011, you see it as an advantage to get you some more money. That's why you're calling it Moneyball. But this type of shit is unethical. If you call yourself the EA Sports and we do sports for the people and make sports games, this is a very unethical move right here, because you showing us that it's not about the games, it's about the money. And so I feel some type of way. I felt some type of way when I heard it, because I read right through it. When you talking about it's in early stages of development, when did you have time to do that? Because if you've been consistent with it, we would have been got that game. Now here I am on a PlayStation 3. I gotta keep blowing the dust off the thing because I don't have any boxing games to play on a PlayStation 4. At least they ported Champion from the 360 to the Xbox X or whatever it is. No disrespect to the Xbox community, but another part of this is, I think that this Fight Night game, had they been releasing it alongside, and why they didn't want to release it alongside is because the Fight Night series would have took the shine away from the UFC. See, they wanted all the attention. They figured that boxing, the ones who love boxing, if you like hand to hand combat, that you would go ahead and just support UFC. But that's false. Well, it is kind of true, because I did buy UFC. I bought UFC when it was $5.99 at the PlayStation Store. When it was on sale for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, so that's when I did buy it. And when I played it, I couldn't play it no more because the fight mechanics wasn't there. The boxing mechanics wasn't there. So with that being said, you can't it's not fair to just try to bunch us all up in that same little group. But I think this Fight Night game would have probably stole the shine and stole some of those sales from the UFC. So it was a very strategic move, but a very disrespectful move to play it like that, the way they played it. So, like I said, I just wanted to make this video to kind of get this out there, because a lot of people are not like focused on the main important. These people are. This EA company is very sneaky and underhanded company. This is the same company. This is the same company that bought the NFL license, or acquired the NFL license to stop 2K from making a NFL games. So it's not about the love of creation. I mean, they in it for the money. And if you really believe in your product, if you really thought that Madden was a superior product, then you let the people decide. Let the sales, not because you want to control everything and monopolize everything, just like they're about to do right now. So they want to try to stick their nose into back into the boxing game, because they see, oh, these sports are different. That's really what this is boiling down to. And there's about to be a showdown between the ESBC and the Fight Night series, because at the end of the day, one of these can only survive at